Hey guys, Chaz here from Pugliese Speed Shop, and I just want to let you guys know I got some pretty good friends, because right when I come out, I run out of ideas. I got nothing to pass along. They come up with something for me. So here's your Tuesday morning tech tip. All right, so I want to start off with a huge shout out to my buddy Jay. You guys don't know him, you'll meet him because when we start working on that truck, he'll be involved. He's the one that got us into that thing there. His buddy Scott's the owner, and known him like his whole life type thing. So yeah, that's how that went. Jay's a lot like me. When I say that, I mean he's got a bunch of old cars. He loves working on them, helping other people out, talking about car, all that kind of stuff, right? He's how I kind of really don't. I'm everywhere with it, kind of the same way. He's got like a '37 Plymouth, like '02 Z28, and like a Volvo or something. He's sounds familiar, right? So yeah, but we're sitting around talking about cars at work one day, because we don't even like airplanes. And he said, "Hey, I got an idea for a tech tip." I said, "Oh, really? Well, what do you got, buddy? Hit me up, right? Because sometimes I run out of ideas." He said, "Well, preventative maintenance." And I was like, now we're sitting at work talking about that, and I go right to like aircraft hourly inspections and whatnot. I was like, no, wait a minute. What are you talking about? He's like, well, I mean, everybody that owns a car knows you got to change the oil. So yeah, okay. He's like, but they forget about all the other stuff. And I was like, huh, you know what? I think you're right. Because I was just walking through the parking lot and I seen a guy's truck with the corners of the front tires like gone. Newer truck, back tires look great. Guess who's not rotating them? you know. So hey, you know what? I think you're onto something, guy. So that's what we want to talk about. All the stuff that you don't even think about that you really should be doing. All right. So a lot of you guys will not be surprised to find out I didn't really buy into the whole service thing. Like, you know, I've been driving buckets forever, and we never worried about flush and fill, all that kind of. So I was a disbeliever, right? And then I'll tell you though, what changed my mind. Megan had an '05 SRX Cadillac, right? Beautiful car. She'll tell you this day, it was like the most, her favorite car she ever had. And it was 10 years old, had some miles on it. We're driving through the mountains one day, and like a trans hot light comes on. I was like, oh, all right. So I took it in. I said, well, it's flush and fill, change the filter, the whole shoot match, right? Let's get it done. Service guy's like, hey, man, why don't we do the whole package deal? You're actually going to save money, Yeah, okay. Power steering, brakes, all that stuff. Sure, man, sure, go ahead, right? I'm like, whatever. I don't care. Let's get the trans done. We're getting ready to, transfer cross country. Let's do that. So let me tell you, when I got in the car after I was going to leave, and just turned the wheel, smoothest thing ever, just effortless. I was like, wow. And the car seemed fine before. I didn't notice anything wrong, but I definitely saw a huge improvement. The brakes were the same way. I was like, wow, man, I didn't notice. This is crazy. So I was like, there's probably something to this, it's just integral, doing your services. So, and then kind of proved it more. We came cross country, and the car made it to Richmond, Virginia, when the trans just shut her down. And that was that. Nobody wanted to work on it. It was, Cadillac North Star years, not good. That trans specifically was an all-wheel drive, was a whole thing, and we fixed it by, trading it in for a Camry, and that was that. But it got me thinking, right? And then there's the old wives' tales about the transmission services, like specifically the transmission services. People always tell you, well, if you buy a used car and it's never been done, just let it go. It'll work till it doesn't, right? But if it's been done, every like 30, whatever the manufacturer, everyone's a little different. Keep doing it and you'll be fine. Who knows, right? Because it was having problems, so either way. apparently there's more to that light than just got a little warm that day. So that kind of put me into a believer, right? And it's like, I've always known that, everybody knows, back in the day, like these days and ones back there, every 3 months or 30,000 miles, or 30, forget it, right? Every 3 months or 3,000 miles, you change your oil. Now, I got, the Camry and the Tundra are both, doesn't matter time-wise. Every 10,000 miles, change the oil. 10,000 miles, what? But, I got synthetic in there and high mileage filter and that. And so, but those things are easy, right? Every 5,000, I rotate tires. And then when I hit, the 10,000, I rotate tires again and change the oil. That's pretty much it for that thing, forever, right? But some of the other cars, 30,000, you do your trans, maybe you do whatever. So you got to know what you're working with. You got to know, look in your owner's manual, go online, whatever you got to do, and you look at all this stuff. But it's crazy how many people don't know, right? So like I said about the guy with the tires, I saw the guy, he's a buddy of mine, and I'm like, hey man, saw your truck out there. You rotating your tires? He's like, yeah, man, every time I drive it, right, they rotate. And I'm like, okay, got it, But, no, like for real, he's like, no, I didn't think about it. Why? I said, well, if you look, your front tires, the corner's gone, bro. Oh, what I got to do? I was like, well, you should have rotated them, but you might be past that point. I think you might need to, change them out and then rotate from there on, but whatever. And you don't realize, you double the life of your tires. And these things ain't cheap. They ain't giving them away, right? Especially nowadays, everything's expensive. So, you got things people don't know about. Like, when I bought the Road Glide, and they were like, so I had the maintenance package, right? Because I just want to ride it and I want to work on it. Well, I take it in and they're like, hey, they give me a little sheet, right? The dealerships, they all give you the sheet. And he's like, hey, we flushed and filled your brake fluid. Bike's got 10,000 miles on it, whatever it was. Really? Yeah, there was over 3% moisture in it. So yeah, we'll change it. Like we're doing science things, percentages of moisture. I was like, oh, whatever, man. But it made sense to me. Like I was like, okay, I know the difference from like what I had with the Caddy. It was like, oh, it's night and day. So let's not let this thing get to that. Let's keep it legit. And Kevin will tell you, he does that. It's like, I don't know if he has the tools to measure that stuff. He just changed it. And it's not a bad practice, right? You're good. But people don't know it, right? And so I said about the paper the dealership gives you. I was that guy. Every time I go in, they're like, hey, this is what we recommend. And I'm like, get out of here with that, right? And sometimes it's true. They do give you some crazy stuff that needs to get done. But sometimes it's legit, right? So you got to know what you're looking at. You got to kind of be familiar with your vehicle, all that kind of stuff. Like my sister, she brought her car in, they're like, you need windshield wipers. And they want to charge her an arm and a leg, right? Like it was like $80 for windshield wipers. I guess they're gold plated or something. I don't know. And she tells me, she's like, hey, do I got to change them? I said, well, when you're driving, you turn the windshield wipers on in the rain. Can you see? She's like, yeah, it's fine. Then don't worry about it. It's like, yeah. But if you can't, then go ahead. It's like, oh, that seems simple enough. Yeah, not a big deal. Then they tried different deal, and my mother brings her car in, and cabin air filter. Always with the cabin air filter, these guys, right? I think that's the worst thing they would put in a car, because all it does, so you got to change it. Now this is the thing, I found this out the hard way. I'm like, I'm not changing that crap, who cares? Well, if you don't, it gets all nasty. And actually, Megan, in her car, she had mice got in there, and they were living in it. And they ended up chewing some wires, too. But that's where they lived, was in there. Now you're breathing this stuff. It's like, all you do is make a nest. The cars were fine without these things. But now that they're there, you got to take care of them because that's how it is. So I had changed it for her. And she brings the car in, I don't know, 3-4 months later for an oil change. And they're like, hey, your cabin air filter, it's no good. You got to get it changed out. And again, $60-$80 they want for this thing. It's a $10 filter. It's in a glove box. It takes 30 seconds to change. So she's like, well, that's odd because my kid just changed it. But, I'll have him take a look. So next week or whatever, I was going there, I took a look at it. And now, guys, mind you, the car's, she doesn't drive it that much. The car's garage kept, right? So it's like maybe she put 3,000 miles in this car in this amount of time. So I opened up, look at it, and yeah, there's a little. I think there was like one pollen molecule in there, and a little bit of dust in like the little crevices, a little bit. Not that it needed change. And truthfully, I don't think they looked at it. I think they looked at the mileage of a car and saw they never changed it and said needs done. So be aware of what you're working with on both sides. Be aware of what needs done and what doesn't need done, and stay on top of it, because if you don't, that's when stuff goes wrong, costs you a lot of money down the road, and it's usually after your warranty runs out, right? But you stay on top of it, not a problem. You know, these newer cars, as much as I hate them, they last. You know what I mean? I mean, you'll get 200,000-300,000 miles out of a car. Try and do that with one of these. Thanks for watching, guys.